And I'm going to hand over to Gus, because we're going to be talking about moving content from the archive site over to the new site.
Okay. Hello, I'm Angus McDonald, or Gus as more commonly known as. I work here as the Web and Digital Manager. One of the things that sort of dogged us for quite some time is the fact that we're currently straddling two web platforms, the old archive.cilip.org.uk and the new YM one. Now, for various reasons, we're now looking to turn the archive off. This is, raised the issue of what content do we want to move across, and we're trying to help member networks do this as systematically as possible. The general premise is only move content that there is a real need for, rather than moving everything across because it might be nice. To help you do this, we've created sort of a couple of reports which we've shared with the member networks. I'll run through both of them here, but I'll also run through the archive.cilip.org.uk dashboard, which also has some information that will help you sort of understand what's there. This one is the CILIP Archive 2019 SIGS report. What it essentially is a list of all the pages which are currently live on the old archive.cilip.org.uk platform. What we've done is we've created tabs for each different group. So say for the HLG group, you've got these pages here. Now you've got the URL location, that's essentially the page that's live, when it was last modified, and these other fields you don't need to really worry about. It's pretty basic, but it does give you a nice quick view on what is currently live. The other report that we've sent through to you is GA Archive Visits 2019 MNs. Now this comes from Google Analytics, which provides a bit more information about the pages you have there. Visits page, which using Google Analytics gives us an idea of how many people are visiting a page and how long they're spending on the page. This is really important because what we're encouraging groups to do is only move pages where there's a substantial number of people visiting. So what you'll find is the page address here, it's an incomplete page address in that it goes, say, about / this / that / So if you want to see what's actually there, what you need to do is put archive.cilip.org.uk in front of it, and that will give you a complete URL which you can look in a browser and see what actual content that's there. Now the measures that I'm encouraging people to look at is the unique page view and the average time. What I do, and unfortunately because we're looking at this through Zoom, I don't have full fun. Oh, hold on. Yeah, there. Okay. So, if we open this up here, you'll see the full, if I grabbed this and put archive.cilip.org.uk in front of this, in fact, I may as well. As an example, I'll just use my skills.
Just click onto one of your tabs at the top. Yeah.
So this is an example of a page that you'd find in the report after I put archive.cilip.org.uk in front of it. Now, what you'll probably want to do is rank these fields and, look at what are the top performing pages. So, yeah, data, where's so, so the top performing is this about page, which, to be honest, given that there's already an ARLG about page on the existing website, might be surplus to requirement, and you might not want to take it across. But, there's also a Northeast Division page and so on. So what you need to do is have a look there and understand what pages are being visited and what pages people are spending time on. Now, the other interesting way to have a look at what content is there is through the archive dashboard. Now, what we're asking each member network to do is get in contact with ourselves, and we can set you up with a login. So what you can then do is, so this is after you've logged in, in the instructions it has the URL, but you need a username and password to get in. Once you're into this general page, you need to hit content. And here you've got menus, sort of drop downs. And among them is the group or branch, which is effectively, if you're from a member network, you can use this to narrow the content you're looking for just to your member network. So say if we're from CDIG, we can, limit there and then go apply. And here we've got a list of all the content that the group has. Now I'll just, title, fairly self-explanatory, it's the title of the page. Page type is quite important, as it gives you a guide to what type of content this is. So this is what is called a general page, but also, there's article news. You might find others which are for people or other things, which is a nice quick way of understanding what's there. There's also the author. Now, I should make clear that I'm pretty sure this is the person who has uploaded it rather than the actual author. It might not necessarily be the person that's written it. Published is whether the content is still live. What you might find is there's page content which people have taken offline, but it's still on archive. So what you might do is find, you might use the Google Analytics spreadsheet to, pardon? So you might use this to better understand what is the important pages, and then, you might go into here to, explore the pages further. Now, there's certain content which is likely to be more relevant than others. What we found through briefly looking at a lot of member network content is that there's a lot of people pages, like profile for particular individuals. And, and some of these are people that are no longer involved in the groups. Now, my recommendation is that we don't move these pages across. We've now got committee member pages, and they pretty much fulfill the key function of people profiles. There might be other, there might be situations where you particularly do want to move people across, but I generally err away from that. Anyway,
so we're just checking to see if there's any. We're just going to check, Rhoda, have you left us any questions? So you just go up to the top. Just check the chat, go to the chat function. Just see if there's anything there. No. Okay, we'll just carry on then. Thank you.
Okay. Do I kill this?
Just drop it down.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is, you know, I'm going to imagine this diversity awards page is one we want to move. Yeah, I'm clicking in. This is the page we're looking at moving. Now, what we need to also do is have things ready for the groups to receive it. Now, I'm going to the groups page where, you know, people who are digital champions should have access to the groups they're managers of. I'm going down to the group here, and I'm clicking, oh, that's not the one, here we go, and logging into the group. Now here, what we want to do is in the upper right-hand corner, there's admin. I should add that I have created some instructions called turning off archive.cilip.org.uk. So if you are furiously writing or typing at the moment, hopefully all these instructions should be listed there. So please don't feel the need to get down every single detail. The instructions are more detailed than what I'm going through now, but we just wanted to visually run through it so you can get an idea of how this works as you go through the process. So yeah, from here we go into custom pages. Now what we're looking for is the group name and template. So if I was to open this up as in a view page, what we're doing is most groups should have template pages, something like this. But it's not actually, yeah, that I'm just showing this for an illustration purpose, but what you'd be doing as you look to move the page is go to edit. What I typically do is right click and save as and open in a new tab. Then what I do is add a new custom page. And what I want to do from this page where we would the CDEG template, where I'd opened in a new tab, is go down to the area called custom page content. Now currently it's in as it is online, as it represents itself. But actually what we want to do is go to the version where it's HTML code. So what we do is we click on Advanced Editor, go OK. And what you'll find is some rather bewildering looking HTML code. What we want to do is go to the bottom of this window and copy the code. Oops, sorry, I was a bit too eager there. What I typically do is go Control-C to copy the code. And I want to dump it in this page, which we were going to add new custom page.
Yeah. Would it be useful to give it a title just so we don't get doesn't get lost or something like that?
I'll get to that.
Yeah.
So what I do then is make sure that the advanced editor is clicked on, because you want to dump it in as HTML code. And here I go down to the box and go Control-V to leave the code. So this is essentially copying this sort of blank page from one page into this blank one. Now if we go back to the tab, not that one there, here we go.
Yeah.
So this is going back to the archive page. You'll find there's a view and there's also an edit tab. What you want to do is click on the edit tab, which, as the name suggests, allows us to get into a mode where we can edit. And here again, the page is defaulted to looking into it as it appears online. Again, we want to change it so it looks, and well, it runs in HTML. So I move the drop down to plain text. So when it's in plain text, again, what we want to do is highlight all the copy, scrolling up, and grabbing it, again, Control C, and here what we want to do is find the place in the copy where we want to dump it. Now what I've essentially done is used lorem ipsum. So in the area where there's lorem ipsum, but between the P's and brackets, I go Control V and dump the page content there. Now, what I need to do now is also add the page title. What you might want to do, and what's often easiest, is simply grab the page title from the page over here. So if I go from there and dump it here, page title. Another thing that another area where the page template code has a page title in here where it simply says CDEG page template, and this will vary from group to group, because the name changes. But what you probably want to do is change this here. So rather than CDEG page template, so, I'll put diversity award. And then when we're finished, scroll down to the bottom of the page and go save and continue editing. So here, you've got a new page created with this URL. I'm just going to copy it now and open up a new tab and have a look at what we've got. And I'm glad to see it's, appears very much similar to how it did earlier, albeit now with the CDEG's page in their page template. So you've got the group's logo, you've got the page title, and you've got the content that's moved across. By doing it this way, we can retain things like the bolding and the headings that were in the previous page. Sometimes you'll find that the formatting is a little bit off. What you can do is, if we go in here, you might want to, at this stage, switch it to editor and go across here. And you can use the formatting functions here to change, say, the string, the sizing of the words using, different formatting and different heading formats and so on. But yeah, what do you want to say something?
I want to ask a question, actually.
Yeah.
So when we've copied over, copied and pasted over all of our content,
yeah,
has it brought with us that link as well?
Which, yeah, this is a link, because you're taking the HTML across,
yeah,
you're taking the links across. If you'd simply copied it across to, say, a notepad, you'd have stripped it of all the formatting. But in many cases, you want those links to be retained. Yeah. So that's why we're recommending this approach.
So I suppose, though, that we have to be aware that some of those links is going to be content that we're going to move.
Yeah.
So it might be an idea to check all your links as well. Yeah. Once you've got your content moved over, because obviously it's linking to the right content when we move it over, but when it's all being moved over, it quite possibly won't link to the same place.
Yeah. Good point. So yeah, That's essentially what we're recommending groups do. Now, this is going to be a lot easier for things like news and blog content. Where it gets a lot more complicated is when you're dealing with a formatted page, such as a person or maybe an event, where you can't simply cut and paste these events because they're not one block of content. But here I'm hoping that most groups aren't going to need to do this because events will be from over 2 years ago, or people, their profiles from 2 years ago or older. If you're struggling with any of these non-standard pages, please do get in contact with myself or Ren, and we can see how we can look to help you from there.